All right, now I'm going to be talking about vision and something that happened inside one of the MindFit Gym group programs. So learning about our values, limiting beliefs, sharpening up our relationships, our communication, learning about what we love and how we want to give and receive love. Now, we got to a point where we started talking about vision on a masterclass, and what I noticed and why I want to share the video is for the men that are watching this that have vision. Because I believe that the cornerstones to manhood is when we have our vision and our values locked and loaded. And so this vision, we got to this point in this masterclass that I asked every man, like, what's deeply on your heart? Not what you want to achieve in the next 3 months, but what's some like legacy stuff that you want to not leave, but some legacy stuff that you want to live in this lifetime. And it went cricket. Like no one wanted to jump in. And it was like very interesting. It's like these men have been going deep inside this container and still there was apprehension and fear to express their vision and their heart in front of these men. And so just going to highlight some tools that I use to allow these men to then declare, because within about 15 minutes, every single man had massive visions. They had so much on their heart. They had like massive plans, and it was so incredible and so insightful to see that all of these men wanted to help, be of service, and to be a contributor to humanity and society. And I think that all humans have that, but there's a lot of fog and fear in the road. And so, firstly, what I mentioned was around abundance. So I've noticed that a lot of people think that their idea is just their idea. And so Blase has this idea, so I'm going to keep it to myself, because if I share it, someone's going to take it and steal it. And so yes, I know that happens out in the business world and like quote unquote real world, but the actual truth is that there's enough abundance for everybody. Now, those people that don't want to share, they hold on to these ideas. And then the people that actually, sorry, I'll rewind that. So the people that out in society did share, and then their idea got stolen or taken and someone implemented that. What that shows, what that highlights, is that other person took action. Because this person that was just sharing it was usually only talking, and then didn't have the foresight, motivation, determination, passion and drive to follow through with that. So that was the fear. It's like, oh, like if I declare this, someone else is going to do it faster. So just with that, be very vigilant of like what circles and everything that you share your ideas and your vision with. And there's a difference between just sharing your vision and actually putting aligned, committed action behind it. So that is one thing there. Now, to combat the aligned, committed action is accountability. So that's why these men are inside the MindFit Gym. So we, the coaching team, just push them relentlessly, because that fear comes up and all that limited belief comes up, and they try and come back to the comfort zone. But we've made an agreement. These men have like drawn a line in the sand with themselves, and they're like, no man, I'm not going back to that comfort zone. I'm calling in a bigger, more courageous, more vision, meaningful, purposeful led life. So that's number one. So we started talking about abundance, and then abundance, that there is enough for everyone. And what I also mentioned was then I started talking about my own personal vision, and then also other men's vision as well. So this is where I want to also just mention to you that proximity is power. Proximity is power. So majority of you have circle of mates, and it's those circles of mates that are like keeping you here and not going up there. And so it's that saying of how can you soar like an eagle if you're surrounded by turkeys? Because if you're the craziest one, the one that has the biggest dreams and visions in your circle, that there's no one that's going to be able to elevate you, prop you up, push you, because you're up there. So it's time to get a new circle. It's time to call in men, masterminds, teams, men that are of like mind, that are as crazy and that have as big a vision as you. Now, that vision doesn't have to be changing the world. That vision could just be being more a heartfelt man, being able to be with your emotions, more committed to your relationship, more present with your kids. That is a vision, because there's something in the future that you want to be or want to become. And surrounding yourself with people that are of that same like mind has been the most biggest trajectory change in my life. Surrounding myself with people that are doing what it is that I want to do, so that I can model and replicate what they're doing. Now, this isn't from a place of comparing. It's like, I actually admire what they're doing. Now, this is the thing too, that majority of people think that their idea, that you're the only person in the whole world that has that idea. Now, this is just a statistic I'm making up, but from everything that I've noticed, probably like 95% of ideas are just replicated ideas from everyone else. But we open up our awareness and it drops in for us. But then the beauty is that we don't have to rob someone's idea and steal someone's idea. What we do is we take what is working, because we can model, oh, they did it like that, but then we put our own essence and our own flavor to that. Now, why we do this is an example. If somebody, you might hear something 100 times and it never lands for you, but the 101st time that this particular person tells you this information, what you've heard 100 times lands and resonates for you. Now, that is because you resonate with that person, you've grown consciously, or you're able to hear this message. Back at those 100 times you weren't able to hear the message, or just the way it was delivered wasn't for you. So this is why packaging up all of the medicine that you have, all the ideas that you have, and putting them out. This is you. Only you can give the gifts that you can, because it's only ever you. And this is the unique thing of the human existence, that we all have unique abilities, and I can't do what you can do. You can't do what I can do. We do it very similar, but we can't do it the same, because we are individual, we are unique. So with this sharing, this is also the proximity is power, because when you put a vision out and when you state that, what also the fear is like, I'm stating something, and as men we know that we are held integral to our word. So these men, I could feel that apprehension. It's like, man, like with their soul level, is like, man, I'm gonna put this out to the universe around some men that are gonna hold me accountable. And if this is saying something that I wish to achieve, desire, and create in my lifetime, that means that old version of me stays there, that comfort zone. And now I have men that are going to hold me accountable. So that can bring up fear, because it's like, oh my God, I'm about to call in a bigger game. Now, this is again why accountability is so amazing, because it's not about that thing that we desire. It's not about that vision. It's about the version of yourself that you become along that journey to have that vision, to have that light, to become that man, to be in that relationship. So purpose isn't a destination. Purpose and vision is about who you become on that journey. So as long as you are on every single day taking a step towards that, you are on purpose, my brother. Now, being on purpose, if you don't know what that is, to figure that out means it's on purpose. So many people on this planet don't get to the crossroads of that question. Why am I here on this planet? What is my medicine? What do I want to do? What do I want to achieve? What is my vision? So many people are still stuck, unconscious, unawake, in that grind of and that groundhog day of life. You're here listening to this video, your head is up, and it's like, there may be another possibility. I maybe don't have to do this for the rest of my life. Now, being at those crossroads, celebrate that. Don't beat yourself up that you haven't figured it out yet. This is part of the journey. Everything in your life got you to this moment to start trying something. Now, if you don't know which way to take, this is where you can get support. Get support for other men that have taken that journey and followed a path and a purpose. The example that I gave, this is my own example about vision. So the very first retreat I ever ran, we were declaring stuff into the fire, and we were talking about vision, and we were praying. So praying is words with intention. And what I put into the fire was I was going to impact 10,000 men by 2025. And I was like, actually, do you know what? Because I felt that was me playing small. And like, I didn't at that time know about 10,000, but it didn't scare me. It didn't excite me. So I said 100,000. I'm like, nah, no, actually, do you know what? 1 million men. I'm going to impact 1 million men. Now that impact, that word has now changed to activate a generation of men. Not just 1 million, a generation of men. This is, so my first mission by 2025 to activate 1 million men. My life mission is to activate a generation of men. To make men's work mainstream. Now that may happen before my last breath and that mission may change. But in this moment, that is what is deeply in my heart. Now the reason I share this, because the very first time I shared that in the fire, all that fear came up. And I'm like, I'm playing small, and I had no idea how I was going to do that. Like literally, this is the first retreat that I've run. Yes, I was doing men's circles, a little bit of coaching here and there, but this is the most prolific thing that I've ever done. Now there was a gentleman that was at that retreat. He heard me say that. And so I just went to work, going about my business, just doing my coaching thing, started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the next retreat came along. And I was at the second or third retreat and the same man came back. Now that man heard me say this a little bit different, because this time I didn't second guess myself and say the 10,000, the 100,000, just straight at that. I'm going to activate 1 million men by 2025. Now something had changed within me. What had changed within me was confidence. What happens when I declared that very first fire, there was a confidence of like, yep, there's confidence. But I was very unclear around how that looked. But I knew the what and I had some confidence to do that. Now, through that declaration, what I realized was like, okay, cool. I now have my what, which was 1 million men. Now I came back to the confidence, like, I don't know how to do that. But I don't need to know right now. I don't need to know the steps. I don't need to know the how. I just needed to know the what. And I also just needed the why. Like, why do I want to do that? Now, you don't need to know the how. So this is where so many men get caught up of like, I've got this vision, but I don't know how to do it. This is the beauty of sharing it with this proximity. So surround yourself with eagles, because these turkeys they're not going to have the answers for you, the solutions for you. Eagles will, because they're doing and they're playing at that level that you desire. They know, they've figured out some hows, and especially in deep men's work, you will find that these eagles are forthright and they want to share this information with you. How? Because you're coming from a place of heart. Now, go again, and this same gentleman, he came back to 2 more retreats. Now, this man is very well educated, very, very, very well educated. A lot of degrees behind him in university, and has done some amazing things. And some on paper would say that this man is more successful than me in business. This man, now, he heard me say that 4 times into the fire. And he started thinking within himself, what has this man been doing? What has Blase been doing over these past 3 years? When he first said that, I thought to myself that he's dreaming. But what? 8 months later, he said it. I'm like, man, there's a conviction to that. The 3rd time I heard him say that at the same retreat, I'm like, okay, I've seen what he's doing now. And it's like, okay, now I'm a little bit curious. The 4th time he said that, it's like, in his mind, it's now not a question of how, it's a question of when. It's now a question of when, because he's seen this vision start to come alive. Because I was crazy enough to dream about it and put it in that fire, but I took a long committed action. Now, this man is now my business partner. He is literally now my business partner. We have joined forces because I was crazy enough to have a vision. Now, the reason I share this with you is when you are crazy enough to have a vision and you are relentless enough to have a line committed action to follow it, there is going to be people that align with you as well. There's going to be people, opportunities and possibilities that are going to aspire to co-create this vision with you. But you have to be crazy enough to believe in yourself. You have to surround yourself with men or teams, or men and women, or people that believe that you are crazy as well. That believe that you are eagle because they are an eagle as well. So this invitation, my brother, stop. Surround yourself with turkeys and start to soar like an eagle. Spread your wings and start to find your proximity to power. Come find your herd that is going to allow you to spread your wings and continue to soar. Much love, my man.